This is Mike from YBuy,
Josh, how you doing?
and we're with our trailer right now. We've been posting some time-lapse photography, but we wanted to kind of update and actually get to explain kind of what we've been doing. So I got the trailer, and it was kind of in bad shape when we started.
Yeah.
But we actually realized once we took all the old wood off of it that the steel was in pretty good shape. There wasn't a lot of rust, there wasn't major corrosion. So we got some steel wool and we kind of went to town. Always wear a mask when you're doing that.
And gloves.
And gloves. I found out the hard way. Had steel wool fibers in my hand. But definitely wear a mask for sure. The other one's just irritating.
Yeah.
So we got some primer, and I was gonna go black, but I'm glad we went with a brown kind of earthy color. And this is a primer instead of a paint, because the primer actually soaks into the steel and it prevents future corrosion. It really kind of just really absorbs into all those pores.
Make sure you wear a mask when you're priming also, because the fumes can mess you up.
Well, a dust mask doesn't really do any good.
No, make sure you have a real actual.
You need a real respirator.
Yeah.
And those fumes are pretty toxic. And so we pretty much got wood through free means. So the trailer, that didn't cost us anything. You can find trailers online, super cheap. People are always just getting rid of trailers.
Yeah.
You can
For
find
a
them.
couple $100.
Yeah, really not much.
Yeah.
The big things to check is just how, like, corrosive damage. You don't want to be putting a bunch of weight on a frame that is like really corroded. These springs, Josh, you know much about those?
Yeah, you just want to make sure that the suspension is good. You want to make sure there's no rust in the suspension or anything, because that's literally your lifeline. That's what ties you to the road. So.
And I was gifted with 2 flat tires.
Yep.
We went and had those repaired, and one still didn't work.
Yep.
So we put my car's donut tire on right now. So we're eventually gonna have to get a beefier tire for this.
Definitely.
I'm surprised my car even would run on this little donut. But it gets the job done right now. This is just a single axle trailer. Heavier weights, you're gonna wanna check with like how heavy your trailer is gonna be. You may need multiple axles. There's 2, 3 axle trailers. So this is just a light one. And you wanna see the tongue weight.
Yeah, the tongue weight. How much your vehicle can actually tow at the tongue.
Yeah, there's different connections on a hitch. There's the ones that connect directly to the back of your car. There's actually just bumper hitches, which you cannot tow much on.
No.
There's bumper hitches that are actually attached to the frame. You can put a lot more weight on those.
Yeah, you definitely want to be using one of those if you're.
And then there's the aftermarket kits you can like get installed to the frame.
Yeah.
But you gotta make sure the ball fits, and that actually attaches into the ball.
Yeah.
We had to get a new ball, and you want to make sure you have chains, emergency chains, if it ever becomes unhooked, that it's still connected to your car. And then you're gonna need electrical connection, which we're gonna have to. We took all the electrical off of this.
Yep.
You can see this rusted mess right here. Lights probably still work, probably not there because it's sitting in water. So we'll probably have to. I'm probably just gonna replace all this.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
we're gonna have to get a new license plate anyway to register it. It has to be registered. Unfortunately, to take this on the road, it has to be registered. You'll have to pay property taxes, stuff like that. So
It won't be much though.
yeah, I mean, something minor like this isn't gonna be much at all.
No.
You got anything, Josh?
No. You want to start talking about how we mounted this to the actual frame?
Yeah. So you want treated wood right here. So what we did, there are like cross members here on the frame, obviously, and then we just placed these boards going over those cross members. We wanted some treated wood separating the frame from the actual building, but you don't want treated wood. Treated wood off gases and has chemicals in it and stuff. So none of that will be seeping into our house. So this separates from your subfloor right here.
And we bolted these down to the frame to make sure that they do not move.
There's some serious bolts.
Yeah.
And torque them down really good.
Yeah.
This is the part you do not want to skimp on.
Yeah.
We used as many bolts as we could, and then we triple fasten these boards together right here. So this is this we just built a frame, and then we have floor joists in here. And we use screws because this is gonna be going on the road. You might use nails in a house, but on this, with all the forces on the road, the wind hitting it, you're gonna have a lot of things kind of that a normal house wouldn't experience.
Yeah, lots of turbulence and crosswinds, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. So we use like 3 screws on a lot of the connections to really make sure that it's solid. And we the only thing we actually bought was this subfloor right here because it's kind of harder to find
Hard
that.
to find plywood,
that.
yeah. People aren't giving away that stuff for free too often.
No, and we wanted to make sure it was really good
Yeah.
and strong. This is gonna be our floor, so we didn't skimp on that. It really wasn't that much though. Spent like $30 on that. No, it was probably a little more than that, but yeah, I got a couple pieces, tongue and groove. It fits together, and now we're working on 2 main walls. These are the full-length walls, and this is gonna be a shed roof, so it's gonna have 1 pitch.
You want to stand this up?
Yeah, so this is the tall side. This is gonna face north usually. So it's gonna be our smaller windows, because we want the main long south-facing window that's gonna get sun exposure to passively heat the house. But pretty much we got all these windows. We framed, you wanna do a rough opening right here, which is gonna be larger than the windows opening. And so you want to make sure that window dry fits in here and has some extra room. And you're going to use, we got shims over here. This is what we're going to use to level and fit those windows in there real tight. These shims are pine, and they come in all these different sizes, and they're wedge shaped. So you just use a chisel and cut them off where you need them. You only put as much in there, and you wedge those windows in there real tight. And you pretty much want them level, so you'll get a square and make sure those fit in there right. So these are your studs. This is your stud wall. You have a bottom plate right here, and that's what's going to fasten into the trailer frame. And it'd probably be smart to use bolts or some serious screws to screw that in when we finally put this wall up. This is your top plate right here. And the reason this is double thick is, well, most houses actually have a double top plate. But windows are supposed to have a header, which is like a thick piece of wood above the windows, or doors. And this actually serves as a double purpose. It's our double top plate and our header. And this is your king stud, which you have king studs on each side of the window or door, and they go the full length. We're actually not going to use jack studs, but if we did a jack stud, it would go right here, and it would support what is called the sill of the window. And we're not going to do that just because this is a small trailer. It's not taking a ton of force, so we don't really think it's necessary. It's just going to add a lot more weight. We're trying to be really weight conscious with this trailer.
Plus, this wall isn't going perpendicular with the way we're going to be traveling, so it's not going to have much wind resistance.
Yeah, we might do that on the sides that have more wind resistance. But I don't think it's really necessary. This is very solid. All the structure, the forces are being put into these main studs, and there's really not going to be a lot of weight on this window. So I don't think it's completely necessary. We really made this beefy because we did 16 inches on, was it 16 inches on center?
Yeah, 16 on center.
For these studs, and that's typical for a house. And right here, it's a little more than 16, and so we used this. We wanted this solid, so we made a double post right here, and we didn't want to toenail the screws in because it's not as strong as going straight in. So we actually offset these a little bit so that we could screw in down here and then screw in up top. And so we offset these, but it's still like the force of a double column right here. So, and we're eventually gonna fill all this in with insulation, probably a spray foam insulation. And I think that's about it. Like, we're about to start or we have started the shorter wall. This is the taller wall. This is a shorter wall. And you're just gonna have a one pitch roof. It's not gonna be like a normal eight, I guess eight
Yeah, I wish we
hipped
had
roof or
an
whatever.
example, but we
Hmm?
don't. So I wish we had an example, but we
Yeah,
don't.
we'll show it later as we document it, but this is going to be the shorter roof, and we're about to start, after we screw this frame together, we're going to frame in that long window. And that's going to be lower, and that's going to allow people to view into the trailer and see all the electrical components and the home efficiency things that we're trying to showcase.